Flores. Today I'm going to give an informative presentation on the dangers that teen drivers face, how to identify those dangers, and hopefully how to prevent them. We're going to learn what makes teenagers at higher risk than other drivers of getting into an accident. And I'm going to start by telling a story of something that happened recently in our community. We had an accident. There were 6 teenagers that were driving home from a basketball game at one of the local high schools at around 7 or 7:30 p.m. on a Friday night. And they were driving home just a few blocks away from the high school. They got into an accident and crashed into a tree. Unfortunately, the driver, who was only 17 years old, did not survive. One of the passengers, who was 13, was ejected from the car and also did not survive the accident. The other 4 were hospitalized with minor to major injuries, and one of the teens that was taken to the hospital also recently died. So this is very sad, and it made me think about my son, who is 14 and he's going to be driving soon. And I thought that I would share some of the risks that they face, so hopefully this won't happen to another family. According to the Centers for Disease Control, accidents are the leading cause of death for teenagers ages 15 to 24, with the ages of 16 to 19 being at the highest risk. And half of all teens will be in a car accident before they graduate high school. So these are kind of shocking to me, and hopefully this can help some of our new teen drivers. So it makes sense that they are at risk at this age, because this is when they are learning how to drive, they're getting their driver's permit, getting their license, driving on their own. One of the risks that they face are distractions. According to the CDC, the more passengers they have in the car, the higher their risk for accidents, especially if there are other teens, and their risk nearly doubles. So it makes sense, because they could be talking to friends, turning around, getting distracted from the road, which can cause them to have an accident. Risk number 2 is not wearing a seatbelt. The seatbelts are meant to protect us and reduce the chance of death or injury, such as the accident that just happened, where some of the teens were not wearing seatbelts and were ejected from the car. Also, the airbag may not function as it's supposed to and actually cause injury instead of protecting you. They are meant to work while you're wearing a seatbelt. And as children get older, they are less likely to want to wear a seatbelt, with teenagers being the age group that least uses their seatbelt. Another risk is that they are inexperienced drivers, and this can increase their chance of missing dangers on the road or hazards such as rain or wet roads, curves possibly, and this worsens in nighttime driving. It's darker, it's harder to see the road, and accidents increase for teenagers Friday nights and Saturday nights, as in this recent crash. This happened at around 7:30 p.m., which is dark around this time of the year, and it had been raining, they were speeding, and it was a Friday night. The other risk is reckless driving. Some of the behaviors that teens engage in that can make them have an accident are texting while driving, using the phone to make phone calls, and drinking. About 1 in every 4 accidents where a teen is involved also involved alcohol. So that's a very big hazard, because you may think that you're driving at a certain speed, but actually going faster. So we're going to go over some of the things that we learned today, so hopefully you can be a better driver and be better prepared. We're going to want to reduce distractions. If you are driving somewhere with a lot of friends, maybe ask a parent or a friend to go with you, to drop you off. Make sure you tell your friends that you need to focus on the road so they don't distract you while you're driving. Wear your seatbelt. Everybody in the car should be wearing their seatbelt, and if there isn't enough seatbelts for everybody, then maybe you should take another car or have somebody drop you off, or think of another way of getting to where you're going. Have an experienced driver with you as much as you can, especially at nighttime, or avoid driving at nighttime if you can. Try to plan your events or your outings during the daytime, Saturday morning instead of Saturday night, for example. Look out for dangerous conditions on the road, such as rain, snow, fog, ice, or curves. And that is it for today. I am going to leave some resources for you so you could look into some of the tutorials and videos, and hopefully you can learn a bit more how to be a safe driver. And you can also visit the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, for more information. We are now going to go into our question and answer period, and we have about 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions that maybe I didn't go over something, or you want to share something with the rest of us, we have about 10 minutes. Again, my name is Nadia Flores before we end, and let's have some questions.